Welcome to Craft Your Future Today. If it's here, it means you're ready to take action that will change your life. We begin this channel with a 3-part series where we'll be having money conversations with Ken Tongai from Moran Capital. In this first episode, we'll discuss some of the things that you should consider even before you invest a single share. Enjoy. Welcome, Ken. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And thank you so much for giving your time and just wanting to share some of the knowledge that people need to have when investing. So just tell us about yourself and what is Moran Capital all about?
So I'd like to thank you, Chris, for this opportunity. My name is Kenneth Kinoti Tongai. I work with a company called Moran Capital, where we take time to talk to individuals, to families, to corporates, to foundations about how to translate their financial resources that they have and continue to create to make them achieve their goals. So basically, we are in between your financial resources and how you're going to achieve the goals that all of us really set out to achieve.
Okay, so let's just dig into this, because in a typical day, somebody walks into your offices and just wants to know, they want to invest. What are some of the things that you just take them through before you start the investment journey with them?
So that's a good question, Chris. When we get guys visiting us in our office, or when we are doing Zoom meetings with them, we want to consider basically 4 things. And one of them is, as the person set their goals, 1. 2, have they assessed their situation in terms of their financial resources? Have they taken a stock take of where they are in terms of their financial resources? Do they understand their risk profiles, their risk appetite? Is it extreme high or extreme low or at the middle? And the 4th thing really is the amount that they would like to invest at any one given time. So those are the 4 key things that we want to look at every time we are sitting, across a potential investor.
Okay, so let me just take you back to the first point where you talked about goals. I know from my experience with my friends, we always want to get rich. That is the goal that all of us want. We want to get rich, but we don't know how to get rich. Would you consider this a goal in itself?
Yes, because rich is relative to different people. There are some who rich means they want to have their holidays on a yacht. There are those who want to just lead a comfortable, modest life. They can meet their medical needs, they can meet their parents' medical needs, they can have the best education for their children. So rich is actually relative, but like a friend says, you will find that you're saying your goal is to be comfortable in life, but then you will find that actually being comfortable means being rich. So it can be a goal in and of itself. Yes, please.
All right. So basically, they must have a goal that they're working towards, because if they don't have a goal, then how are you going to help them? It's very important because most of us are there crossing our fingers and hoping things will change for us. And most of the time it doesn't if you don't have a clear goal for yourself. And most of the time even you need to write down this goal just to make it real, that you may be able to actually attain it. All right, so you mentioned 4 things. What was the second thing, just to clarify?
So even before we go to the second thing, Chris, you'll find that guys have all these dreams in their heads, whirling around their heads, the different goals that they have. And they have this belief that just because they are thinking it, they will be able to remember it and actually actualize it. But we actually encourage that you need to critically think about your goals, and not only think about them, even write them down. Itemize them, like 1, 2, 3. And the other reason why you're thinking about your goals that hard, Chris, is that you need to arrange them in some sort of way. There are short-term goals, there are medium-term goals, and there are long-term goals. You will find that in the category of the short-term goals, Chris, you would have maybe 4 of them. So how do you arrange those 4 in what order of priority? The medium-term, the same case, and the long-term, the same case. So you need to really critically think and attach amounts to those goals, attach timelines to those goals, attach names to those goals, so that it gives you the impetus, the motivation to really address and achieve your goals, Chris.
Great. So what I hear you say is write it down, set your priorities, and give them timelines.
Yes.
All right. Great. All right. So what other things should they consider?
So the second thing that we want to talk about with our clients or our potential clients, Chris, is that we need to assess your status quo. You know, what do you have? Where are you? It's like a stock take of your financial resources, how you spend, how you earn, so that we are able to know, even as you have written these goals, are they realistic? Are they achievable with what you have? And if in any case, not all of them are, how are you able as an individual to know what to do in the future to be able to either grow your resources or maintain them in a good way or in an optimum way, so that you can be able to address the goals that we have listed in item 1. So basically a stock take, and we normally have tools for this. We give you tools to do your budget, we give you tools to do your balance sheet, and a balance sheet is not really a complicated thing. It's basically saying, what are my assets, what are my liabilities, so that you know these assets that I have, how am I deploying them, how am I using them to the best way, so that they can help me achieve what I've set out to achieve. Okay.
Even before you get down to the balance sheet, where you're looking at assets minus the liabilities for someone to know what is their worth, right?
Yes.
You mentioned you need to know where somebody is. Like, you might come up in a situation whereby somebody is living beyond their means. And this is something very common, whereby you find somebody is constantly borrowing money towards the end of the month. They usually say you have more month than the money. So in such a scenario, how would you help out this person first?
So like I said, we give you a tool that really challenges you to state things as they are. And that stating, if you're honest to yourself, is an itemized list of how your money is actually spent. As in, even if you had a pet that you buy food for, we want you to list that for us.
Right.
If you are paying school fees for your masters, list that. If you spend 10,000 on weekend lunches and going out, we want you to tell us that. So that when we have a sit down with you, when we look at the bottom line, Chris, because basically it's income, your expenditure, and what is left. So once you do that stock take, then we will realize if you are being left with something, or you are being left with nothing, or you are being left with X amount. So from that position is when now we can know, do we come back to the expenses and interrogate them together with you, so that we understand what we need to cut down, what we need to change, so that this bottom line increases. Because it is only this bottom line, once it's present, that's the only time you can start investing. So to answer your question is, the documents that we give you really will challenge you to tell us the very status quo. We don't expect you to feed us with documents that are so rosy. We want the truth from you, because what you will give us is what will help us to help you chart the way forward. So when you give us garbage, you will find that we'll also be unable to give you customized advice. So we encourage, be open to yourself, write the exact, even if there are weaknesses that you feel you have, note it down, then we'll work together collaboratively and see how we can now start a good journey with you. All
right. So basically knowing where you are, and then we start from there.
Yes.
And this applies to anybody, anyone who wants to invest. The best place to start is always where you are.
Yes.
And I believe people should not be discouraged. Even if you want to start investing, just start where you are there's never that best time to invest, because people always tend to wait for the perfect conditions before they start investing. And I've encountered this a number of times, where people always like, I make little money, so I can't start investing. So what I'm hearing you say is that we should just start where we are, come clean, say all your income, state all your expenses, and then we start there.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So what's the third thing that you also mentioned?
So after you have assessed yourself, you see now you are very enlightened in terms of you know what you have at your disposal. So the next thing is to determine what amount to start the investment journey with, and basically having filled out the documents, they'll have challenged you to know what you have. What you anticipate in the near future is also something we ask someone to list. Because I could be speaking to you today, Chris, and you work at a certain XYZ company, and you know very well in the next 1 month, you'll be getting into another job where your salary will double or increase. So that's an anticipated, it's a resource that is coming about in the near future. So that exercise alone of establishing where you are and where you are headed in the near future allows you to know the amount that you can actually start the investment journey with. Investment journey with, yes.
All right, so there's this notion that investment is for the rich. This is a common belief that many of us have. Are there investments that I can start with 500 shillings in my pocket, for example, or 1,000 shillings in my pocket? Or do I have to wait until I have 50,000 or 100,000 to start investing? Because I know the bottom line sometimes may not look so rosy, but the determination is what counts, all right? So are there investments like that?
So Chris, you raise a good matter that the market really thinks that you need to have a certain amount to start the investment journey. That is a fallacy, and it's far from the truth. I find that when I interact with potential clients, they have these questions like, what's your minimum? And there's no answer to that question, because whatever you have is what you're supposed to start with. Because if I told my clients that we deal with 100 million or 5 million for starters, then that means anybody who doesn't feel they have 5 million feel like they are locked out from the investment journey. If I tell someone my minimum is 500 million and this person has access to 1 billion, then it tells that person that this guy can only assist me understand my 500 million. Else, I need someone else who can help me deal with my 1 billion. So to be straight with your answer, once you assess your situation, the disposable income that you have, that X amount that you get, that is the amount that we will use to help you invest in pursuit of the goals that we listed, earlier in our itemization.
All right,
Chris.
All right. Now that makes sense, because people are in different stages in their life.
Indeed.
So everyone has a chance to achieve much more than where they are right now. And definitely this is why we are having this kind of informative discussion, so that we can encourage people just to, whatever you have, it can start to be invested. And so do not shy away from approaching such institutions to get that investment advice, all right?
Yes.
All right. Okay, what was the other thing that stood out to you that people need to consider?
Yeah. So as I go to the fourth thing, I've realized you've asked me, are there actually investments in the market that have little or small amounts, if I can call them that, for lack of a better word. You look at the government of Kenya, they have been doing a lot of borrowing through the bonds. And at one point they had done the M-Akiba, whereby you would invest in bonds or bills online or digitally, so that they are able to access the retail market. So although it died down, there was participation when it happened, and I'm told they want to reintroduce that session again. The minimums that you are to do this through M-Pesa. So basically, from your 1,000 shillings, from your 500 shillings, you can be able to do that. When you look at instruments like the money market funds, or another word, the unit trusts, You are able to do 1,000, you are able to do top-ups of 100 bob. So in short, any amount that one has, all they need to have is the goodwill, the will, and the motivation to do it.
All right.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
to go to the fourth thing, it's basically to understand your risk profile. And the risk profile, in simple terms, is what level of risk are you willing to onboard, even as you want to grow your money. And basically we use a spectrum, like a scale, 1 to 10. So we are saying, and 10 years is representing a high appetite for risk. 1 is representing a low, and of course there is now the middle ground. So once you feel that you are a conservative person, we have instruments or investment products that are conservative, going to the medium and going to the high in terms of risk. But of course, at Moran, what we will tell you is that even when the risk is high, the best way to handle risk, Chris, is to understand it. Because even today, when you woke up and no one assured you would go home today. So risk is inherent in all activities that we undertake. So the bottom line is seek to understand the risk inside and seek ways of mitigating it. And that's what at Moran will be able to guide you through.
All right. The most common saying is, I have a job, so I'm secure at my job, and I don't want to venture into anything where my money will be at risk. And as you've truthfully put it, that we are not assured of anything. Even the job is at risk because anything can happen. We saw it during COVID happening, where many people lost their jobs without anything. We had not even anticipated it, for example.
Yes.
So how do you try and, because one of the things that people face, why they fear, is because they do not know. So do you try and educate the investor and try to take them through the different types of products and how risky their money will be and whether they lose any money if they are ready to lose any money?
So the people I interact with, Chris, are heavily worried about the risk that their money faces. And in Kenya today, every single person or every household or a relative of yours here and there has at one time or the other gotten into pyramid schemes, and or someone set out to sell them a plot, and 1, 2, 3 things happened, and someone lost their land. So Kenyans are very keen to know on the risk that they are onboarding as we advise them on the investment, and many an investor will want to know the details. And that's what at Moran we do not shy. They say there is a fine print in the contract. For us, we will go through with you, through the fine print with you. We will not withhold anything. Whether you are a savvy investor or you are a regular investor, we will take time to answer you even the questions you have not asked, so that you are comfortable, because we have your best interest at heart. So yes, we'll take time. There are savvy investors who will put you through quite some rigorous sessions where they want to go through the investment from A to Z. But like I said, even for one who is not asking the questions, we will seek to answer the unasked questions.
Unasked questions.
Yeah.
All right. And people fear, there are several fears that we have, and you rightly mentioned one where you got burnt in the past, and then pyramid schemes have really shown us how careful we need to be. And that is where the hard investing mentality comes in. We tend to rush into something because it's either your family member or somebody is selling it to you. I wonder, is there a way that you can put the client at ease, like the kind of investments that you're offering them, for example? Are you able to certify that you've done the background check to ensure that their money is not at risk? Because they're coming to you, trusting you to take care of their money. What kind of investments are there, and are they the common investments that anyone can access out there, or is it something that is very high risk and probably they are not happy to put their money into it? How is that disclosure like? Yeah.
So one thing we pride ourselves with at Moran is having the requisite expertise to be able to understand investments, both locally and internationally. We have put together people who have a background in the financial services sector. And when I say financial services, I mean banking, your microfinance, your insurance, your investment advisory, and what have you, including actuaries, Chris. An actuary is someone who is able to look at numbers in a different way from your regular person. So before we advise you to onboard any investment product, we have taken ample time to look at the fundamentals around that investment. And one of the key things you look at when you're looking at an investment, you're looking at regulation. Is the provider of that investment, are they regulated? Common regulators you hear, of course, we have the Capital Markets Authority, we have the Insurance Regulatory Authority, we have Retirement Benefits Authority, we have the NSE also, though not a regulator. But we want to know the provider, if they are regulated by CMA, for example, are they filing their yearly returns? Are they sound? Who are the leaders behind that company? We really dissect the provider of X investment on behalf of our clients, so that even for us, Chris, when you give us your amount or you allow us to help you to invest, we also don't want sleepless nights. So we really take time to understand the provider of the investment before we can recommend to our clients thoroughly.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that assurance. I think when it comes to investment, you need to take care that every coin that you invest is going towards something that will compound for you and help you reach your financial goals. Ken has mentioned some key things that we need to look out for even before you remove that shilling in your amount, that shilling from your pocket. You need to ensure you have your goals written down and itemized. Your priorities are set, and also what you want to achieve with your finances. The second thing he said, what are you willing to invest? What amount are you coming? And you need to know your status as you are. Are you living within your means? And what is your bottom line? What is your bottom line? So that they can now work with you towards creating a portfolio for you that will enable you grow your money and your wealth. And also, what is your risk profile? Are you a low risk taker? Are you a medium risk taker? Or are you a high risk taker? And once you've factored all this in, is when now you can now sit with Ken and his team to now decide what is the best path forward for you. All this information is very relevant for all of us because we end up losing our money rushing into high risk investments that most of the time result into disappointments and loss of money. Your hard-earned money should not go to waste simply because you entered into something and you are not aware. He mentioned great things that will assure you that your money is safe. You need to ensure that where you're investing your money, they are being regulated by some form of authority. And once you have that assurance, then you can be guaranteed that your money will be safe. I just want to thank you so much, Ken, for sharing this great information. And just want to let our viewers know that this was just part of a two-part series that we're going to be having with Ken. And once now that we've established what they need to know before they invest their shilling, now we're going to go in what exactly goes into your investment portfolio once you've understood your bottom line. All right. So thank you so much, Ken. And for your viewers, I just want to remind you, for this and more great content, kindly just hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications so that you don't miss any of our great content that is coming up very fast and coming right to you to your doorstep. I just want to thank you and see you soon.